Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves in the outdoor community lately. Imagine this, 20 hikers needing rescue in just one day on the Skye Trail. Yes, you heard that right, 20. And it's not just a random spike, it's a wake-up call. Personally, I think this story goes way beyond the numbers. It's about how we perceive risk, rely on technology, and maybe even how trails like this are marketed. So, let's break it down. First off, the Skye Trail isn't your average Sunday stroll. What many people don't realize is that the word trail here is almost misleading. When you hear trail, you might think of a well-marked path with clear signs and maybe even benches along the way. But the Skye Trail? It's a whole different beast. It's remote, rugged, and in parts, there's no obvious path at all. One thing that immediately stands out is how the name itself might be setting people up for the wrong expectations. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about a trail, it's about how we label and promote outdoor experiences. Now, let's talk about the role of technology. The Skye Mountain Rescue Team mentioned that many hikers were using apps or electronic routes. Here's where things get interesting. A clear line on a screen can feel like a safety net, right? But what this really suggests is that we're becoming over-reliant on technology. In my opinion, there's a huge difference between following a digital route and actually understanding the terrain. What makes this really interesting is how it ties into a bigger trend, our growing dependence on tech in the outdoors. Are we losing the skills to navigate independently? It's a question worth asking. Another detail I find fascinating is the weather. The day these rescues happened, the weather was poor but not exceptional. That's a red flag. If 20 people needed help on a day that wasn't even the worst conditions, what does that say about preparedness? From my perspective, it's not just about the weather, it's about how we assess risk. Are hikers underestimating the trail because of how it's marketed? Or are they overestimating their own abilities? This raises a deeper question. How much responsibility lies with the hikers, and how much with the organizations promoting these routes? The Skye Mountain Rescue Team made a point that really stuck with me. They said their role is to help without judgment, but they also questioned whether the trail is being misunderstood. Personally, I think this hits the nail on the head. The trail gained popularity after being featured on the adventure show, and while that's great for exposure, it might have created a skewed perception. What many people don't realize is that media portrayals often gloss over the challenges. If you're watching someone hike it on TV, it looks doable, right? But the reality is far more demanding. So, where does this leave us? In my opinion, there needs to be a broader conversation about how trails like this are described and sold. Are we doing enough to prepare hikers for what they're getting into? Or are we inadvertently encouraging them to take on more than they can handle? One thing that immediately stands out is the need for better education. Maybe it's time to emphasize skills like map reading and compass navigation, not just rely on apps. And maybe, just maybe, we need to rethink how we name and market these trails. Here's my closing thought: the Skye Trail isn't the problem, it's how we approach it. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about one trail or one day of rescues. It's about a shift in how we engage with the outdoors. Are we losing touch with the skills and respect that these environments demand? Personally, I think that's the real question we should be asking. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you're planning to tackle the Skye Trail, make sure you're prepared, because that screen in your hand, it's not enough.